My first company was a complete flop. I tried to build a startup in university. I was a third-year computer science student, and I had two other friends that were trying to build something in the logistics and delivery space. So the idea was that we would deliver products and services based on volume. So if your neighborhood had a lot of volume in orders, we would incentivize you to buy more.
Buy more bullets, more guns.
Because us delivery to you and your neighborhood is costing us nothing because we're already going to be there. And we realized that we didn't have the money to rent out trucks and rent out warehouses. And we were like, okay, how do we take the same approach and apply it to something that would actually find value in? So we decided food delivery might be a good example. So food delivery at any given time in any given area, there's high volume, and we incentivize you to order more, or people in your neighborhood to order more.
Order more bread!
Because it costs us nothing because the driver is coming to your neighborhood anyway. So we decided on food delivery, and the whole thing cost us about 10 grand. Most of that went to paying the drivers, and honestly, building the software out, we were students. We had a lot of time on our hands. So we built the software out ourselves. The software was barely functioning, but you know what? It worked. It did its job. You can order food. The drivers can see where they need to deliver and where they need to do pickups. And then we had an admin dashboard where we could coordinate stuff.
We can track everything.
So it worked, which didn't cost us much, but the drivers, we had to pay out of pocket. And most of the orders were by our friends. So when we launched this out in our school, we went to University of Guelph at the time, and we decided that might be a good place to launch because at residences and office spaces around the campus, you can imagine at like lunch and dinner time, there would be a huge volume of order.
Too many.
And so we decided that that would be a good place to launch our product.
My business is open for business.
Most of the orders were by our friends. Honestly, I love my friends, but again, I'm not trying to build a business to just serve my friends. I'm trying to build a business to serve the greater audience.
Serving shit food to shit people.
So we started doing marketing efforts. We started doing social media strategy where we would do online quizzes, where we would like share different ideas and then do giveaways. And then on top of that, we were planning a samosa event in the university campus to raise awareness of like, hey, we've built this app out. Here's a free samosa, order through our app and like support local students. And then we also had like some insane ideas like walking around campus in a chicken costume. But unfortunately, actually, before I even get to that,
we'll return after these messages.
We actually had two complete strangers orders. So our marketing initiatives was working and our product was up and functioning. There was a lot of manual work involved because the routing system didn't exist in our software yet.
100% of anything doesn't really exist.
So it was literally just me manually routing the orders from like restaurant A and then drop it off here and then go to restaurant B. But that's fine. The customer didn't know about that. On their app, it looks like everything's automated.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad.
But we had two complete strangers and that was like promising. Like we managed to get strangers to use our app and trust them with their food and their money. And it was great. I mean, we fulfilled those deliveries and we asked them how they found out about us. They found out about us through social media. So that was awesome. But the problem was, this was around, I think 2019 or 2020, the peak of the COVID pandemic. Literally, the whole campus shut down the month we launched. Like, our luck could not have been any worse. We were like, okay, like we were at the same time, we were also applying to accelerator programs. We were applying to different investors. We were trying to pitch the idea to investors and then scale this out and make our product better. But also, the pandemic at the time was like completely, it was a new thing. Like none of us knew what was going to happen. People were dying left, right, and center. There was so much fear mongering and we were like scared. We were like, okay, like we were doing the deliveries ourselves. So imagine like putting ourselves at risk.
You're gonna risk our lives for a Twinkie?
Respect to all the Skip Dishes, Uber Eats drivers, like y'all put your life at risk to fulfill other people's needs. Appreciate it. But again, like we were terrified. We're like, I don't know if this is a good idea to continue. And we got rejected by Y Combinator for that exact reason. I'll make another video explaining the whole Y Combinator process and how we got rejected.
You're an get the out of here.
But for this one, the purpose is, yeah, we didn't get into these programs. Investors weren't interested and campus shut down. We could have launched a product in our own city. So I lived in Guelph. The other two founders lived in Mississauga. So we could have launched in Mississauga, for example. But again, we didn't want to put our families at risk. I was living at home, my friend was living at home, and the other guy was living with his wife. So we didn't want to put our families at risk. And it was just a worse time to start a business, at least for us. There are tons of people that profited off of that. For us, it was the worst time. So yeah, then we graduated out of school and then we had to look for jobs. So we went from starting a company, it flopping because of the pandemic and environment, and then us having to find a full-time job. So that's the story I wanted to share today anyways. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.